if you were to be able to tick off all 7 of these things, you will be unbelievably financially happy. It's easy to feel like you're behind with money. Prices are up, wages are stagnating, and everyone on Instagram looks like they're having the time of their life rolling around in cash. Now, the reality is that actually, if you can tick off just a few of these 7 things, you are probably doing a lot better financially than you even realize. It's important to get some perspective and actually realize that we're actually doing okay in life. Equally, if there are some gaps that you identify as I go through these 7 things, perhaps we can think about ways that we can put plans in place to rectify them. But the more of these 7 things that you can tick off, the better that you are probably doing financially. Let's go over them. Number 1, pretty straightforward. You spend less than you earn. Over 9 million UK adults have no savings at all. Each one of these points, we're going to have a data source to back up the thinking behind it. If your money lasts longer than the month, you are doing okay. Now, for some people, this in its own right will even be a stretch, but it doesn't need to be much. Even if you have £50 left at the end of the month, you are at the beginning of something where you are starting to sort out your financial future. That means you've got control over your budget. That means that you are bringing in more than you are taking out, and that basically is a balance sheet. That's a successful business. And sometimes we need to look at our home like a business, because actually it pretty is close to a business. You've got incomings, you've got outgoings, you've got assets, you've got liabilities, you might have kids, dependents, all sorts of different stuff, and it is difficult to track a household budget in its own right. So if you're in a position already where you've got a little bit left of money at the end of the month, you are ahead of 9 million UK adults already. Number 2, you've got an emergency fund. Now, it doesn't have to be a lot. You just have 500 quid, for example, as a starting point in a high interest savings account on the side that you don't touch. It means that if there is an issue with your boiler, if there is an issue with your car, you have got a little bit of cash on the side ready to deploy should you need it. Research done by the FCA in 2023 shows that 1 in 3 adults have got less than £1,000 in accessible cash in an emergency fund. So if you've got anything, you're already on your way. If you've got more than 1,000, you are ahead of a third of the population. Those unexpected things, they happen all the time, and it is very hard to predict when they're going to happen. So it's not something that you can forecast. You need to have a bit of an emergency buffer on the side just in case, to cover these sort of eventualities. My dishwasher broke last month. I spent 6 hours trying to fix it. In the end, I left it out the front for the scrap man. I bought a new one. It was 250 quid. I wasted a day's worth of work trying to fix it. Actually, I should have just actively used that emergency cash that I have on the side for these exact reasons and deployed it. So lessons learned all around, really. Number 3, you're investing something, even if it is a tiny amount. You can start now with brokers with as little as £1. For example, there's a link in my bio to Trading 2 and 2. If you use that and deposit £1, you're going to get a free fractional share up to the value of 100 quid. But even if you're just putting 25 or £50 a month away, you are again well ahead of the crowd. Less than 10% of the UK population have got a stocks and shares ISA. So if you've got one and you're actively putting money in and you are considering your future and trying to grow your wealth for your future, however small it is, you are ahead of 90% of the UK adult population. And the important thing here is not the amount of money you are investing. Even if it is just £1, like I said, you have already overcome the biggest hurdle, and that is setting up an account, working out how they work, selecting an investment product, and beginning. And if you don't know how to do any of that sort of stuff, I'll leave a link to a cheat sheet that I have created, which is a 1-pager on everything that you need to do to get started with investing. 4 steps, all on 1 page, dead straightforward, completely free. It'll be linked in the bio below. Number 4 is an emotional one, and it is a little bit linked to number 2, and that is you don't panic when something breaks. This is the beginning of feeling like real financial progress. You have a sense of calm when something breaks. You know that you can deal with it. You have, as per point 2, got an emergency fund to deal with it, but psychologically it puts you in a position where you are much, well, happier in reality. That's the end of the day, because these things, if something breaks and you cannot deal with it, they can create an unbelievable amount of stress. If you're in a position where something breaks in your house and it doesn't cause arguments, it doesn't mean that you're creating a whole load of stress as a result of it, you are well ahead of the crowd. The ONS did a study in 2023. The average unexpected expense is £1,400, but most people don't have anywhere near enough to even cover that. So if you are in a position where you can do so, you're doing all right. Number 5, you know where your money goes. You've got some sort of budget tracking system in place. When you open your banking apps, it's not a complete shock full of transactions that you can't remember, don't know what they were all about, and all that sort of bad stuff. You know what your subscriptions are. You've set specific dates where money's coming out. You know what's going to happen. You're in control of your budget. 45% of UK adults do not track their spending regularly. Now, there's an extreme with this, as you can create budget templates. We can work out on a line-by-line basis where everything's going. But if you are checking your bank account at least once every couple of weeks and you know what's going on within there, again, you're well ahead of the crowd. Number 6 is more of a psychological one again, and this is you don't compare yourselves to others. And this is one that we probably all struggle with. The advent and the growth of social media and comparison and keeping up with the Joneses has never been harder and never had more of an impact on our own mental health and our own aspirations and goals and the way that we see our life. If you're at a point where you're not trying to match your mate's car or your sister-in-law's new kitchen and you're not worried about it and you know that you're in control of your own destiny and you're happy with your lot, you're in a pretty good place. Not many people are actually in that place. I haven't met that many people that don't always want more, always want a new car. And this is the problem. Once you get something, it very quickly becomes tired and old and you get used to it, and then you want the next thing, and it's a never-ending cycle. So if you're happy with your lot and you aren't comparing yourself to others, you're in a pretty good place. And like I say, this is a real struggle for a whole load of people because of the world that we live in. That is why we have seen such an advent and growth in mental health issues. And a study by Barclays done in 2024 has shown that 1 in 4 adults overspend way beyond their budget in order to try and impress other people. Now, if you can not do that, and if you can allocate that cash elsewhere instead, into your savings, into your investments, if you can move past that, your bank account is already in a much safer place. And number 7, you're actively thinking about the future. So this is something I obsess about. Now, everyone's different. Some people live in the past, some people live in the present, some people live in the future, some people live in a mix between the lot. But if you're actively considering what your future might look like, I get a lot of comments on TikTok from people saying, what the hell are you doing this? Live for now. You might die tomorrow. Well, hopefully I don't. But what I do, I try to strike a balance between the two. Yes, you can live for now. I live quite relatively frugally, I suppose, but I don't go without anything I possibly want or need. You know, if I want to have a steak on a Saturday night, I'll have one. If I want to go to the cinema, if I want to go out for dinner, I've got a car, I've got a house, all the bills are paid. What more do you need? So if you're in a place where you're comfortable with that and you're doing something about looking into the future, right? You've got a stocks and shares ISA. You're looking at your pension. You're making sure you're maxing employer contributions. You might even have a financial independence plan. You might want to retire 10 years early and you're doing something about it. Those sort of things are going to set you apart. Most people don't even know where to start with all of that. So if you do, you're ahead. Right now, the average UK pension pot at point of retirement is £107,000. Now, as a drawdown, that's going to allow you to take about £4,000 per year out. That's nowhere near enough. We're walking into a pension crisis. People don't realize that they need a pension. They think it's going to come in the future and they don't need to worry about it. They're not doing anything about it. Now, thankfully, we have got the opt-in scheme from the government, whereby you're pretty much, if you're working for a private business, you've been opted into a pension, but are you maxing out the contributions? Are you thinking about what the timeline is? You can, at the moment, you can retire. If you're my age, you can retire at 57 and access your private pension. Are you aware of that? Or are you thinking you're just going to wait until you're 68 or even have to work even beyond that? Who knows what the state pension is going to be doing by the time my age group comes to retire? Is it going to be there? Is it going to be means tested? Is it going to be less than it is now? Is it going to be inflation adjusted? All of this sort of stuff. If you're actually thinking about and considering the impact of that and doing something about it to make your life more comfortable in the future, you're in a pretty good place. You might not feel rich, you might not feel ahead, but if you can tick off 3, 4, 5 of these, the more the better, obviously. You're actually doing much better than you think. And if there are any gaps, if there's anything that you do want to address, what are you going to do around addressing it? If you were to be able to tick off all 7 of these things, you will be unbelievably financially happy. Now, regular viewers know that I always finish on a joke. You're in luck or fresh out of luck, depending upon how you look at it, because I've got a few to get through. So let's do it. Right, we're behind, a few days behind. So I took a selfie after my kidney removal surgery. Hashtag no filter. What school do surfers go to? Boarding school. Dad, look, I found a $20 bill in the pocket of my raincoat. I guess you were saving that for a rainy day. Who do you call for help with your Bluetooth? The dentist. Last one, I promise. I struggle with him as much as you do. My son must have been relieved to have finally been born. He looked like he was running out of womb in there. Right. Oh, I shouldn't have done that one. That was tomorrow's one. We'll save that for another day. Right. Thanks for watching. Let me know if any of this resonates with you. How many of these have you managed to tick off? And which ones haven't you? And what are you going to do about the gaps, if anything? Right. Appreciate it. Take care.